In ancient Galilee, as Jesus and his disciples arrived on the shores of the lake, a man the town was terrified of had emerged from the tombs. His chains flailed around him as his screams echoed towards Jesus and his men. What and who was this demonic entity making his way towards them? Demonic forces are nothing new as they are around us in this world, but this man was plagued with demons. How does the Bible describe him, and what is Jesus' reaction to a man whose body contained thousands of demons? Mark 5:1-5. So they arrived at the other side of the lake, in the region of the Gerasenes. When Jesus climbed out of the boat, a man possessed by an evil spirit came out from the tombs to meet him. This man lived in the burial caves and could no longer be restrained, even with a chain. Whenever he was put into chains and shackles, as he often was, he snapped the chains from his wrists and smashed the shackles. No one was strong enough to subdue him. Day and night he wandered among the burial caves and in the hills, howling and cutting himself with sharp stones. The name the demon had given provides a reference point to just how many of them there really were. Legion was a term used by the Romans to describe an army, not just any army, but the Roman legion. This was a highly disciplined, well-trained, and heavily armed body of infantry, which, in the 1st century AD, comprised between 5,000 and 6,000 men. For there to be upwards of 5,000 demons in one man's body, it shows how many fallen angels there really are. The fact that the devil can spare that many in just one man proves it. This man was not running the town. He lived a wretched life alone in the tombs, completely shunned and feared by everyone, yet the devil still plowed him full of demons. What had he done that required him to be chained? Serious violence, murder, assault? Did he steal from the town, or simply a manic screaming obscenities all the time? We will never know, but he was an outcast, in fact possessed, not by one demon, but thousands. He is called a couple of names in the Bible, from mob to legion in Luke 8. His life was spent wandering hopelessly around the tombs, naked, unkept, and devoid of any meaningful human interaction. Even though he had broken free from his chains, daily life was a prison for him, and as it says, he spent it crying and living in misery. Verse 5, the man is said to cut himself with sharp stones. We know this as self-harm, a way of dealing with the pain of internal struggles. When you feel like there is no way out, this man in desperation was using cutting as a way to have some small piece of control. It seemed every facet of his life was out of control. He was homeless, abandoned, and possessed. How on earth did he get to this point in life? At one stage he was a small young boy, with his whole life ahead of him. What choices did he make to become one of the most possessed characters in the Bible? For his name was now Legion. Some say the most agreed upon location of this event took place near the town of Gergesa, the modern Corsi, close by the eastern shore of the Sea of Galilee. Now Jesus and his men headed towards the screaming man. They did not stop, even though this man terrified the town. The spirits inside him knew, even from a distance. They knew Jesus had arrived. Right then and there did they take matters into their own hands. The demons did not even try to run away and hide from him. They met him head-on, even yelling out to Jesus. Even though they displayed extreme physical strength by breaking chains, it seems they did not force the man to flee. Even thousands of demons knew they had to stop and resolve the situation right then and there, for before them was the Son of God. The Bible continues. Mark 5:6. When Jesus was still some distance away, the man saw him, ran to meet him, and bowed low before him. With a shriek, he screamed, "Why are you interfering with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? In the name of God, I beg you, don't torture me." For Jesus had already said to the spirit, "Come out of the man, you evil spirit." Then Jesus demanded, "What is your name?" And he replied, "My name is Legion, because there are many of us inside this man." Then the evil spirits begged him again and again not to send them to some distant place. There happened to be a large herd of pigs feeding on the hillside nearby. "Send us into those pigs," the spirits begged. "Let us enter them." So Jesus gave them permission. The evil spirits came out of the man and entered the pigs, and the entire herd of about 2,000 pigs plunged down the steep hillside into the lake and drowned in the water. The herdsmen fled to the nearby town and the surrounding countryside, spreading the news as they ran. People rushed out to see what had happened. A crowd soon gathered around Jesus, and they saw the man who had been possessed by the legion of demons. He was sitting there fully clothed and perfectly sane, and they were all afraid. Then those who had seen what happened told the others about the demon-possessed man and the pigs. And the crowd began pleading with Jesus to go away and leave them alone. There was a lot that happened in this situation. First part, did you hear how the demons had to ask Jesus for permission to enter the pigs? They could not just do that of their free will. Why did Jesus do this? Why not send them to the depths of somewhere? One explanation is pork was not a food the Jewish people ate, as it was already unclean meat. The sound and sight of 2,000 pigs throwing themselves into the lake would have been loud and chaotic. Imagine the horror of this unfolding in front of the herdsmen's eyes. They had just lost their entire herd of pigs, their livelihood gone in an instant. Seeing the man now free of demons, the herders, however, had a different reaction. They were terrified. Instead of enjoying the peace and incredible moment, they turned and ran away, sharing the tale as they went. It obviously did not take long for the whole community to find out what happened. They all came out to see Jesus and the disciples, not out of joy or peace, but anger and fear. They told Jesus to go away. They were now begging like the demons. Is this because the whole community was actually pretty happy with their dark ways of life? Had the miracle simply been too big for them to understand? Or did they think this group of strangers were going to cause them more financial harm? Sitting in the middle of all this chaos was the man formerly known as Legion. He now sat calm and fully clothed. For the first time in many years, he was full of peace and calm. For years he had been a screaming and raving maniac, a feared man who would gash his skin with sharp rocks. But now he was sitting with Jesus and his disciples. In the far reaches of the world, this man had been living a desperate life. Jesus still found him and met with him and healed him. Yet this miracle seemed to simply bring terror to the rest of the town. But he now walked free. He now had the ability to go on and live a new life. How did this man become so possessed, and what were his choices in life that allowed the devil to move thousands of demons into him? It is said demons can enter and possess any unbeliever. They, however, cannot enter into the body of those who belong to the Lord. There are a number of reasons why this is so, and God talks about it many times. Proverbs 2:8, for he guards the course of the just and protects the way of his faithful ones. 1 John 4:4, you are of God, my little children, and have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Colossians 1:13-14, he has rescued us from the power of darkness and transferred us into the kingdom of his beloved Son, in whom we have redemption, the forgiveness of sins. This man Legion had lived a life of torment that no one would want, yet in the end he was given a new life. Nothing is known about him after this encounter with Jesus, but he would have lived the rest of his days in peace, love, and calmness. Wonder what happened to the herdsmen who simply fled and begged Jesus to leave them alone. There is room and hope for us all in God's kingdom. Everyone's path is different, but know that there is someone walking alongside you.